Dude, what temperature do you guys like keeping your house at? $65? That is fucking insane. Do you wear like a jacket? Dude, 65 is fucking insane, bro. I'm weird. I've been back and forth. I like I'm like a 72, 73 kind of guy. I could do 75 during the day, but I like sub 70 when I sleep. I like to be cold when I sleep and then be warm under the covers, and then like that helps me go to bed. If that makes sense. Like being hot and trying to go to sleep is fucking terrible, you know? But like during the day, I'd like it to be a little warmer, which is nice. Like if you get, there's a couple thermostats you can get that like changes the temperature on a set schedule, and like having it a different temperature during the day is so nice. Also, I used to like it way warmer when I wore bare feet around the house. When I wore bare feet. But now, since I wear Crocs or some kind of slippers, I like it a little colder. Since you've gone shrimp. Nah, bro. I say this is definitely a low-key slurp. Yeah, I wasn't even going to stream today, and then I got bored, so then I did. What's good? What's fucking good, by the way? Holy shit. Alright, we're coming in. What's up? Bet you weren't even ready for this. 6 minutes starting soon screen. We're fucking locked and loaded. You, Max, you're a good girl. What? Sneaky camera spot? Oh, did you guys find it? Actually, no, I'm not going to let you show it, because I'm not going to show you where it is, because then I can use it in the future. Max, can we get another interview today? Just grab a chat rando. Yeah, I did just get interviewed on my stream randomly yesterday. Hey, so Terrace Land is dead, right? I have no idea how many people are still playing Terrace Land. We stopped playing due to the difficulty decrease, but it did kind of seem like NA was dying already, so. Max, can I ask how you stream to both YouTube and Twitch? I do it via OBS. I don't do it on Restream. I just have OBS do it, so I am uploading 8 to 10K bitrate twice. And I think I'm encoding once. I don't think I'm encoding twice. I think you encode once. So it's the same strain on your computer. And I think it just uses more upload, I think is how it works. I think you want to use Restream if you're limited on upload, because you only have to upload once and then it like sends it different places. But I've heard the quality is a little bit less on that, so that's why I didn't do it. But it's probably easier. Here to say Frank is a beast for putting the interview on YouTube so fast. Okay, can we keep something a buck for a second? So Frank is a beast, okay? Hands are up. Frank is awesome. But it was probably not hard to edit that. I'm pretty sure he just downloaded it and just typed some things at the beginning and then just ripped the whole thing live with no cuts. So for his job, that is as easy as it could have possibly been. I rewatched it because I like listening to myself speak. You know how it is. No way this guy is putting Frank on blast. I'm not putting him on blast. Frank is awesome. I'm just saying, in that specific video, he didn't have to cook. He just released what I did on stream. And kudos to him. He's going to make 50% of whatever that video makes. He dunked on me. He did great. There's a lot of my videos where he adds a ton of value to them, like the undercover stuff, all the like super long like talks I do, and he cuts it down and makes it more digestible, and he puts a million timestamps. Frank's fucking insane, but on that specific video, he didn't really do anything, which is fine, right? He didn't need it. So to increase Frank's money, we have to play your channel on repeat while we sleep. That would also make me money. So yes, that would benefit both of us. You should all do that for sure. Frank adds the timestamps that makes him goated. Yeah, I think that takes a lot of time too. I love that, honestly. Like if I'm watching if you watch the Potty C on YouTube, which a lot of you do, like if you watch any kind of long form content, which is my favorite thing to make and also to consume, bro, the timestamps are like mint. They're fucking mint. It adds so much value to the video. It's so fucking good. I love that he does that. I hate that when I watch things like that don't have that. It's so much worse. Can we get a 70-30 split for Frank? Like him getting 30? Or him getting 70? I'm down for him getting 30. No, 70? Guys, I already pay him. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how much other people pay their editors, but a 50-50 split is fucking insanely good. That's like, for a channel that makes a lot of money, that is an extremely high amount for an editor. That is fucking crazy. So 70 would be insane. That would be like unheard of. That would be like I do literally nothing and no one watches the content because of me at all, and they only watch it because of how good the editing is. Which he does. Some of my bigger videos have been insane editing, but that's like unheard of in the industry. He already makes as good of money as he could make doing it. Is that not the case? All right, well, let's just all slander me then. Let's just slander me. Look at that video that came out yesterday. He didn't do anything. It's doing great, right? Because I was just yapping. Can we just give all the proceeds? No, this just isn't fair. He posted. That's true. Would the video have made any money if he didn't post it? Think about it. So he should get 100%. What do I even need me for? Reptar's knocked out. Oh, he is. Look at him. Look at that little guy. Look at little Rep. Are you looking at me? Are you wagging? Are you wagging? Oh, shit. Little stretch, little stretch. There. Oh, my God. Oh, what a fucking stretch, Reptar. All right, back to bed. Look at that. Right back to bed. Max, are you going to stream on YouTube during the race? My work laptop blocks Twitch. I believe I will. The only thing that might make me not available to do it is sometimes Liquid or when we are with Complexity will sign a specific deal with Twitch or someone to like exclusively broadcast. And I think that happened for a few of our races in the past. And like there was one where we co-streamed it on Douyu as well, and like that was part of, we got paid by Douyu to do that. So unless that happens, I'll be doing my normal thing. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think that happened for the last one. And also, Twitch used to have a running deal with every org. Basically, the deal was Twitch will pay you to stream your stuff on Twitch if you're Team Liquid or 100 Thieves or something. And that means your creators will be on Twitch. That means all this stuff, or as many creators as you can. And basically, we pay you this amount, and you provide a certain amount of hours and expected viewers or whatever. And that's how you hold up your end of the deal. So those deals existed for a really long time. As far as I'm aware, none of those deals still exist. They're all gone. Team Liquid was actually the first one, I think, the most OG Twitch contract, and I don't even think Team Liquid has one now. Or maybe just ending. I think it already ended. So Twitch just doesn't do those deals anymore. So, and that's the reason why I'm able to stream on YouTube at all. When that expired, I'm pretty sure that is the only reason that I can even stream on YouTube. Because while they did open it up to most partners, people who were on an agreement through their org were still not allowed to co-stream. So I was only able to do that when the thing went away, not when they announced it. So I'm giving a lot of information here just to simply answer your question. I strongly believe I will be able to co-stream the Race to World First on YouTube. And I might even this sounds really stupid, but I might fuck around with Twitter streaming. I've seen a few people in the WoW community get like a few hundred extra viewers on that are much smaller than me, get a few hundred viewers on Twitter. But I don't know how Twitter monetization works. It would just be splitting the same feed I'm already splitting and just throwing it on Twitter, but it's not monetized. Well, I mean, because they're not playing ads. Of course it isn't. They have no way to sub to you, and I don't think they play ads. It is just badly. Yeah, I'm not going to do it if it's not monetized, because then I would just be splitting my audience for no reason. Do you have Twitter Blue? I don't know. On TikTok too? Max, what's on your shirt? It is a thing. It's like it's a road, I think. It's a man or a woman and a tent, and then a road. It's like a painting, kinda. I guess. I don't know. It's a shirt. I like shirts. Max, it looks like a man with a very... What? What? Are you guys coming out with new shirts for the race? I don't know, maybe. I'm not really a part of all that. Even if I was, it would probably be some kind of announcement. They'd get mad about me talking about it. Max, do you listen to Slipknot? No, I used to, when I was a kid playing travel hockey, I used to listen to a Slipknot song, like before the game. God, what the fuck was the name of that song? It's like super popular. It's like the Slipknot song, I'm pretty sure. Is it Duality? I'm pretty sure it's Duality. Yeah. But I'm not like a Slipknot guy. Dude, that derp shirt is so comfortable, and I laugh every time I put it on. Yeah, that was a fucking amazing shirt. Max, Twitch drops ink. Oh, I assumed there would be Twitch drops because they had really successful Twitch drops last expansion. Oh, and support a streamer. Let's go. Wait, no. Please tell me I didn't miss the sign up again. I always miss the fucking sign up for this. Okay, wait a second. Okay, World of Warcraft will be partnering with Twitch to host support a streamer during the launch of WoW: The War Within. Twitch viewers will be rewarded for gifting subs to participating streamers starting August 26th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Support your favorite eligible streamers. You can receive Watcher the Huntress Pet to join your adventures. Okay, so there will be... Well, this is support a streamer. I'm not sure if drops... Did they mention drops as well? Oh, then here we go. At the second part. Twitch drop. From August 26th, 3 p.m. to September 19th, you can earn the Ghastly Charger mount. Sweet, so I can put drops in my title for a couple of weeks. That's fucking good for me, so... We like that. Okay, so... Wait, so is this correct that you... Wait, okay, so... It says eligible streamers, and I remember there was it was really controversial last time. Like, some people didn't get invited to this. I think the reason they normally don't do the whole section is they don't want, like, some massive viewer, Andy, to just play WoW for the first time all year and just get gifted subs and steal it from all the WoW creators. I think that's why they were selective with it, but I know some WoW creators got left out last time. And I almost got left out because they always announce this stuff in another Discord to get invited to this, and I never read the Discord, and I always have to have someone tell me, so I have to get added on later. Yeah, I made a lot. I think I got like 30 or 40,000 subs at the beginning of Dragonflight from this, so we want to be a part of this for sure. Let's do... Okay, so how to participate. You log in with your Twitch account. Visit any Twitch channel streaming WoW, and then while the channel is live, purchase 2 subscriptions to any tier to earn the reward. Okay, so there's no... So they said eligible streamers, but eligible streamers is everyone. Unless this is just completely wrong. Which is fine. Let me message my guy. 1 second. Hey, just making sure, since I was late last time. Do I need to do anything to sign up for the support a streamer thing? Ghastly Charger mount too. Oh my god. So I have this mount, and I don't give a fuck that people are getting it. But man, can I not wait for the discourse to happen yet again, where everyone's like fighting over the prestige of these old things. Someone's gonna make up that someone bought a multiple $1,000 TCG card to give to their husband for their birthday to give them their favorite mount they've always wanted, which is a complete fucking lie, by the way. And they're like, and this is why Blizzard should never do stuff like this. Yeah, this is totally fine that they do this. I have no issue with it whatsoever. I would love if you would raid lead entirely talking like you do when you're typing something out. Wait, do I sound like a fucking idiot when I'm typing something out, I guess? What are you am I being flamed? I must be. I'm shrimping right now, by the way. Just realized it. Holy fuck. All right. Fuck yeah. Love some twitchy drops, some twitchy Ds. Loved the gifties too. The gifted subs are really nice. I don't know if it'll pop off as hard as Dragonflight. But man, I love free money. Free money is sick. Someone in YouTube asked, streaming on YouTube a lot. Great call with so many people having YouTube Premium. Any reason to not stream YouTube and Twitch every time? Great thing you asked that, by the way. It is possible that streaming both to YouTube and Twitch, specifically during this event, will negatively affect my channel. So Twitch drops are pretty simple. So if you're someone who doesn't normally watch a WoW stream, here's what you do. You go to Twitch. You're like, oh my god, there's a Twitch drop. That's cool. I don't usually watch WoW streams, but we're going to watch one right now. Okay. World of... That's so loud. All good. I'm going to go to World of Warcraft. Okay, who are the top couple of viewers? Okay, so this is actually exactly how the expansion usually plays out. I just started my stream, so Dorky has more viewers than me right now, right? So this would be Asmongold on an expansion launch, and then I would be second. That was what it was in Dragonflight. Okay, so people are almost always just going to click the first, second, or third one, and you can see that there's a viewership increase across the board, but like the top two get like the vast majority of like the drop exclusive Twitch viewers. So in a way, I'm streaming to YouTube right now. I have 600 viewers on YouTube. I don't know how many of those would be watching me if I was only watching Twitch, but I'd bet it's about half or a quarter of them that just have YouTube Premium for no ads, or they just like the player more, right? So let's just say the difference between my YouTube viewers were to make me first from second to first, or from third to second. That would be the difference of a lot of fucking money. Like tens of thousands of dollars over the course of the release of the expansion, probably. Just the ability from being second, or regardless of the viewer count, just being second or third in the section, or first or second, is tens of thousands of dollars. Okay? So that, if you're asking, someone in YouTube chat asked me that question, if there was ever a reason to not do it, it would be specifically because of the interaction with Twitch drops and the support a streamer campaign. But I don't think I'll do that. I don't know. What is it? People on YouTube will see in chat that people are talking about drops, and if they want, they will come. YouTube will increase your gains for expansion launch. Oh, okay. So by advertising your stream in two different places, while you are splitting your viewership, you are also increasing awareness of the campaign and the ability to give subs to your channel. Maybe. Hey, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Or maybe you're wrong. How about that? Guys, I'm becoming more and more of a fan of sweet potatoes. Max, you're not showing up in the YouTube section on YouTube. So how do you find YouTube streams? So I imagine if you wanted to watch YouTube streams, what would happen is you would probably just find my stream on here, right? Like my stream would just be something you see. Like if you watch my videos, my stream will show up on here. I actually have stats on this. That is how, like, I think 90+% of people interact with my stream is they just see it pop up on their YouTube thing. So, but I think how you're supposed to find live is you go down to the explore page, you go to live. To be honest with you, I've never done this before. Can you even go to a set gaming? Okay, featured, not featured, fucked up. Okay. Recommended. Is there a game section? Top live games, view games. Man, WoW streaming on YouTube is very low. Holy shit. Or did I pass it? Or I'm assuming no. I mean, I literally have more viewers on YouTube right now than all of these things, which means I'm definitely not in the section. But I don't even know how you set your game, really. But this is my point. You said I'm not in the WoW section on YouTube streaming, but let's see. World of Warcraft. There we go. 356 watching worldwide. You're right. So Crit Cake, Preheat, Mystical, Kira, a lot of people, right? But I'm not here. I don't know. How does it know you're a WoW streamer? Do you have to, like, put that in details? Description, gaming, game title, category, gaming, game title. Oh, you can type the name of the game you're playing. Okay, so I've just never, ever been in the WoW section on YouTube. But I want to say, and I don't know this for sure, I want to say that doesn't matter at all. I bet that is plus or minus, like, maybe 5 viewers or something. Like, I mean, I don't think that could ever matter. Like, I just don't think that's how people find YouTube streams. Dude, YouTube, I would love to see the amount of people that do this. That, like, go to live or go to gaming and, like, find streamers here. Like, there's no fucking way. No way. I think everyone who uses YouTube opens YouTube and just looks at what it recommends and scrolls down. That's it. Because you don't even have to look at your subscribed channels. You just, like, if you subscribe to a channel and you watch their videos a lot and they have a new video, it's just going to put it there. YouTube's algorithm is, it's pretty cool. Very, very insane, I think. All right, well, fuck yeah. So we got a YouTube stream now. Woo! And I'll probably do it for the expansion. So I heard they had some hot fixes today. Class tuning hot fixes on the War Within beta. Holy Paladin, Resto Druid, Disc Priest. Okay, so they're doing some tuning to Resto Druid. They buffed the fuck out of Crusader Strike. Is this all new, by the way? Wait, talent positions are changing. Are they reworking Holy Paladin? There's no post to this either, right? I wonder why. Have Holy Paladins been... I'm assuming Holy... I saw Ellesmere tweeting about it, like, last week. Let's find him. So let's scroll down. Okay, wait, he has no tweets since 3 days ago, but I remember reading something. Okay, August 1st. One last post with HPAL feedback before the war within. Thank you to the devs so much who've been listening and working hard to make this specs feel so much better. And then he gives a bunch of shit. Okay. Oh, damn. Rip Mr. Socks. 07s to Mr. Socks. Okay, and then August 9th. HPAL devs, if Holy Infusion is actually being removed, please consider nerfing us in a different way. It is crucial to the playstyle that's been so beloved through beta, and removing it 2 weeks before launch would throw away so much more of the amazing effort put into the HPAL rework. Okay, so that was 3 days ago. So I'm assuming... Do these changes have anything to do with that? Does he have any, like, replies? Blizzard, hello. Holy Infusion has been removed. This is August 8th. So this was... It went live mid-key today and he hated it. Max, how much does tuning and changes impact you guys this close to a new season? Are you already knee-deep in dunny testing? Rogue, for example, seemed horrible 4 weeks ago. They are now considered the best AoE DPS in the game, at least for Mythic Plus. Does this cause changes to your strat and comp? Well, I mean, a class going from worst to best will obviously change your... It literally changes the meta, so of course it would... Yeah. Yeah, I think... It depends. This expansion is way different than other expansions. Like, other expansions, it was so obvious what the best comp was, like, months away from the expansion coming out. And then, like, every week there were changes. Like, minor things would change, but the main comp would still stay the same. And then that was true all the way up until the race. This time, it's like... Yeah, like, every like, week or two, it seems like you're making 1 or 2 changes because of the stuff they're doing. But, I mean, you just have to have options and be available and stuff. As you'd expect. Like, you can't be in a position where they... Like, it is kind of weird. Like, you can't be in a position where they make a certain class, like, super, super insane or super, super dog shit right away, and then you don't have the ability to stack them. You have to have so much variety in the characters you're leveling to be able to fit into whatever they make the best. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And Heroic Week is back, which is important. So even if they get something really wrong, something is way too good, something is way too small, they'll have an infinite amount of raid data and class data from that week with similar gear. And they can make adjustments. Typically, the changes leading up to the race are a little small because it would be like super weird for them to make crazy changes after we've already geared everything. But they have the ability to fix things that are bad. Heroic Week always leads to better balance, so it's a very good thing. Heroic Week back, yay or nay? Oh, huge yay. But Heroic Week fucking owns. Does Liquid Raiders have a minimum number of classes and specs they're expected to be able to play? Like, as a DPS, do you say you must have 3 different classes ready? It depends on the player, and it depends on the role. Like, some players only ever need to play Warlock or Mage, depending on who they are in the guild and stuff like that. Some people only are going to play Warrior. Some people are only going to play whatever, right? Like, but some people might only ever play Moonkin. They're only going to be a Moonkin. But then some players that aren't like the main of any specific thing you usually always need, they do need to have the ability to play. I mean, if you're at this level, the expectation is you could play pretty much anything you were told to play before a raid at the highest level. That's the expectation at this level. But that's not always what that's not practical, and that's... You don't have every class in the game ready. You kind of separate it so people focus on like 4 or 5 things. How bad would Mage have to be for you to make Fired Up swap, assuming they removed Arcane Intellect? Just not best. If for whatever reason Mage was not optimal to bring one of, you would just have him play something. He's really good at multiclassing. He just happens to be really good at Mage, and you need a Mage, so you just have him play it. But that's a lot of variables, right? Including removing a raid buff that's been in the game since forever, right? How do you handle the addition of new classes like Evoker? You just have players in your guild. I don't know. Sometimes people, what got people to this level is a level of passion and almost obsession with certain specs and things that they loved playing, and they played the shit out of them, and they played them so much they got this good. So, like, when Evoker came out, we didn't really tell anyone to play it. We just kind of saw how it played out on beta and saw who felt compelled to play it a lot. And then it's like Sang was playing dev every day and loved it, so it's like, okay, we'll have Sang play it. Goop was playing it a lot, so like he ended up playing it. It just, people who naturally are like the class, it made more sense for us to do that. And then when AUG got released, kind of the dev players just had to play AUG, but then we potentially had to run 4 AUGs, and that was interesting. We had to like ask who in the guild could play AUG, and then like the answer from a few people was like, if I play this spec, I'm going to quit the game. It's like, all right, well, that's not an option. Thanks for being honest. All right. Yeah. I think it was Exile and Dranako were both potential options to be our 4th augmentation evoker in Amir Drasil, and both of them were like, I can play it if that's what the guild needs, but like I'm definitely quitting the game after this race if that happens. And it wasn't them like giving us an ultimatum, it was like just telling them what was probably going to happen because it was so not fun. Seems like a red flag at that level. Well, it didn't feel like that at all to me, really. People enjoy having fun in video games. People who are really good are going to play better if they're having fun. You don't play good if you're not having fun. Max, what are you munching on? Right now I'm eating broccolini, sweet potatoes, flank steak, and some I don't know what you'd call these. They're like little tiny baby potatoes. They're not sweet potatoes. They're like reggie potatoes, but they're like really small. I don't even know what the fuck these are. Fingerlings? Yeah, sure. Race to World First doesn't pay enough to not enjoy it. It has nothing to do with that. If you made $1 million doing this, you wouldn't put someone on a character they hated. It would just be worse than finding a person who likes playing it. It affects your performance. Playing something you genuinely don't enjoy the gameplay style of for weeks at a time, all day, every day, is fucking torture. Why would you? You're just gonna play bad. Oh my god, we're getting the same shitty Race World First questions again. I'm skimming through most of them, but yeah, this is an early stream end angle, or we find something else. Let's see. So they're buffing Deathstalker again. Was there no post about this? These are just hotfixes. There is some React content on YouTube. Like what? What's your gym workout routine? Right now, I don't do any resistance training. I don't have any time to. I'd like to work it in, but I don't know how to work in resistance training without overtraining. So I play a pretty high-level hockey. It's really fast-paced. It's like twisting and torquing your back a lot. So like your back is always tight. You're constantly in like a almost fully sitting position while sprinting when you're playing. And I play 2 to 3 hours a day. So if I were to add resistance training on top of that, I would probably get injured. I tried working it in a little bit, and I was definitely having to take more days off. So right now, I value the skill work of continuing to play. But there will be some value in the future for sure to take some time off and add in resistance training to get stronger. You're building muscle by doing what I'm doing. It's just not as efficient as like resistance training. And it's more fun. Honestly, going to the gym, picking heavy things up and putting them down again, and versus like doing something active like hockey is just infinitely huge fun difference. So I prefer the fun thing. Do a nice react to Tettle's Boomkin Dooming. Okay. Okay. YouTube Tettles. Preach video on Paragon came out like last week. Yeah, I heard about that. Why I'm not playing Moonkin in the War Within. Top 5 mistakes DPS make in Mythic Plus dungeons. It would be fun to guess what that is. Actually, I want to watch this one. Let's guess what we think that... If you already watched this too, like, don't give your answers, but... What are the top 5 mistakes damage players make in dungeons? So in no particular order, let's just try to guess. It's like... Focus too much on damage. Don't plan out defensives to survive. Don't use stops/kicks enough. Don't hold cooldowns / like both not using cooldowns efficiently, and that could either mean saving it at the end of a pull or actually getting an extra use by sending it when most people would hold it. So not using cooldowns efficiently would count for both of those. The first point is too abstract. Focus too much. You're right. Focus too much on damage is a general thing, but maybe it wouldn't count as one of the points. I feel like he'll probably use that, though. Oh, I know one. Attacking the target you're kicking instead of the actual prio target. That DPS absolutely fucking do this all the time. Which, by the way, if you want some help with that, there's a fucking insanely good macro and like weak aura setup to be better at that. But people do that all the time. Which one is it? Okay, so I can log on and show you. Just use mouse over kick. You can use mouse over kick. I strongly prefer the focus target thing. And specifically, it also marks your target at the same time. So where's Horse Boy? Let's go on him. Well, the weak aura is just like, I guess it shows you. So I'll give you the full thing of how it works. Holy fuck, he's actually loading into WoW. Yep, probably less than 5 times. Okay, I did ask about this support a streamer thing. Okay. I didn't miss the sign up or anything. Mouse over is totally fine for FPS game veterans, but focus kick is still... I think focus is just... I mean, mouse over can just be inconsistent. Like, seeing a kick... Okay, so let me... Where's my bind for this? Oh, my... For some reason, my UI is not working. I probably just have to update some shit, but not super important. Let's see, where's the kick thing? Okay, so here's mine. So let's bind this to something, just control D, whatever. So what this will do is this is going to mouse over, set my focus, and it is going to apply a marker that cannot be removed by other people. So if I mark this with X, and someone has an auto marker on, it will not remark this as another marker. Okay? It will set it as a focus. You can do it on mouse over, right? I'm not targeting anything here. I'm just mouse over between the two of them. It sets it as the focus. And then if there is a mob that has a cast, maybe I can find a mob with a cast here. Do any of these guys do anything? These ducks cast something? I don't want to kill it, but... Do you cast anything, duck? No, fuck. I need to find a caster. But basically, I have a weak aura that goes in the middle of my screen that just only shows my... Regardless of who I'm targeting, it shows my focus kick. Neutral mobs usually don't have a cast. Yeah, I need to... I need to change my mouse profile. A few of my binds aren't working, actually. That's interesting. I just need to find a mob that will cast something at me. Just so I can give you the... That guy? Probably not. That guy definitely doesn't cast. Come on. Upper north near the raid, you think there's a lot? Where am I right now, actually? Bro, where the fuck am I? I'm in a Murdrasil? Is this the place where you farmed all the seeds and shit? The elite area? Alright, well, I'm going north. Hopefully there will be something around here. You aren't even in the dream. You're in the wrong zone. That's fucking amazing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how the fuck I got here. I guess I flew here natty. That's fucking amazing. I don't even know how I happened to log out in this area. Just do a follower dungeon? Nah. I'm gonna do this the hardest way possible. Wait, so how do I fucking go, bro? I guess I could hearth and then... You ran away from that... Oh, you're right! I did. How did you remember that? I did run away from that random person making sounds at me. It's fine. I can just find someone in this zone. Okay, that guy's... You've got to cast something for sure, Giant Lasher, right?
Please, cull the vines.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so you see serrated petals? This is only for my focus target. I could target anything else. I could target this guy, but my focus's cast is going to show up. Where the weak aura comes in is... That's just like a regular-ass UI element, the focus cast. You don't need any weak aura for that. What the weak aura helps with is every single pack in every dungeon, you can set it up every season, and you make the cast that you really care about. Like, he's casting multiple things. Let's look at his cast here. He cast Debilitating Strike, and he cast again, Plant, and Serrated Petals. So let's say Serrated Petals was really important, but whatever his other thing is, Debilitating Strike isn't. Okay, are you fucking... What the fuck? Okay. Whatever. Okay. You get the point. So, you can set it up to where only the cast you care about makes a noise. So then you hear serrated petals, you'll hear a gunshot, and then you know to press your kick keybind, and no matter who you're targeting, no matter where you're facing, depending on what class you play, no matter how far it is from you, depending on what class you play, you will kick the thing that matters. That's what I think is really good. So two things are happening here. You are able to You're able to like get your kick information that's relevant in one place using an audio cue to actually determine when you press your kick button, which you can make always be true. You're allowing your hearing to help you, which is great. And more importantly is, if everyone did this, you would never have to decide who's kicking what. You would walk up to a pack, you would mark something. If someone else had the same macro and they marked it as a square, it would be impossible for you to mark over them. That's how the macro works. So you would just see that they marked this with square and you'd be like, okay, shit, I'll change it. And then you never have to communicate who's kicking what. You've already assigned it as you're running up to the pack. So a simple macro will change the marker to a marker that everyone knows is your kick. And then also it will make it your focus. You have to put your focus cast bar somewhere where you'll pay attention to it. And then now every single important kick is in one spot on your screen. And then the extra level of that is making sure the actual cast you care about has a sound cue attached to it. So the only thing that's really important here is just this initial macro that I was showing you. So I'll put it in chat right now if you want it. This is, I think everyone should do this in Dungeon. Every high-level Mythic Plus team does this. You should all have that. It's on a mouse over. It will do everything that I just said, that macro right there. You just have to eliminate the space in the front of it. And then that's how you do that. And you can change the number after focus. It's set to 7. I think 8 is skull. And then, like, you know, you can just set it 1 through. There's 8 markers. You can just pick one that isn't the same as someone else. You just need 5 different ones in your team. And that will help you a lot. Anyways, I just wanted to go over why that's good. So when I was guessing what people did, it's attacking the target you're kicking instead of the actual prior target. If you do it, I just told you, it's super easy to get used to, and it's absolutely fucking OP. It's not something you have to think about a lot. It's just like you're walking up to a pack, you mouse over something, you press that, and then it all does itself. What does bracket do? Someone gave me that macro. I didn't make it. I'm a fucking idiot. I have no idea what any of it does. I just know the end result. Please give for YouTube. Okay. Also, if you set your kick, you also have to set your kick to a focus kick macro. And those are, it's really simple. It's just like, you can find these anywhere. You can just search it for your class. It kicks as a focus, and then if you don't have a focus set, it'll kick your main target. So you can only have one keybind. You don't need a focus kick keybind and a regular kick keybind. You just have it one keybind. What about the weak aura? Can you link the weak aura? No, I don't know. You can find the fucking weak aura on your own. I'm not sure. Because it's specific to the season. Basically, what the weak aura does that plays the sound for important cast is like you'll get the weak aura, and then eventually you'll like, for every season there will be a new one made, or you'll alter it for specific casts, which you can get the IDs of the characters from like MDT. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So back to the thing. I don't want to spend too much time on this. So you guys think we should delete 1? Okay. So don't plan out defensives to survive. Okay, don't use stops and kicks enough. Not using cooldowns efficiently, which again means 2 things. It means sometimes near the end of the pack, it actually makes sense to use your cooldowns again, and sometimes it makes sense to hold it for the next pack. Doing either one of those all the time is not correct. It depends on the situation. Like Evade, one of the best players I've ever played with, has like a philosophy. You just use your cooldowns on cooldown. Way too many times people make the mistake of just like holding it for so often. Like actually just rip it on fucking CD and you're chilling, right? That's not always true, but like when in doubt, that's what you do, right? Not the other way around. Use your shit on cooldown unless like something's actually about to die. So that, and then attacking your target. Okay, but you said I did initially put here playing too greedy for damage. Could I just say not? I feel like it's basically just like AoEing instead of cleaving off of primary, but that kind of like that like even when there's a pack with no kicks, a lot of times people will like Divine Storm instead of like Templar's Verdicting off of the target that actually needs to die. It's like about meters. So both of these are slightly different, but I think they're close enough to where I'd leave them off. But I mean, the answer is padding, right? Like, but that could also be 5. Not knowing mechanics, that's a little too basic, right? Play for overall damage instead of playing the timer. That's just not using cooldowns efficiently, right? It's kind of the same idea. It includes that. Okay, I'm going to use these. We'll see how many I get right. All right, let's watch Tettle's video.
Perusing YouTube a little bit, and I came across a video by my favorite YouTubist, Growl, and he created this video called "The Biggest
Growl
Mistakes
does have
Healers
incredible
Make in
YouTube
Mythic Plus
content.
Dungeons," and he listed the top 10 things that healers need to do to be able to improve their gameplay in M Plus Dungeons, and that got me thinking about DPS.
By the way, I'm going to get super sad if I wrote, like, focusing too much on damage and not playing the key as a super basic thing, and you guys are like, ah, it's so basic, and then he picks it, and then I'm wrong. I'm going to fucking scream.
That's probably my biggest forte. And so then I came up with the top 5 reasons, because of course we can't have 10 as a DPS. DPS is just too easy. Top 5 reasons and top 5 biggest mistakes that DPS make in M Plus Dungeons. And this is just generally going to be looking to improve your gameplay. It's not that big of a deal. And so let's jump into it. So number 5, we're going to go with pre-positioning.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is talked about a lot whenever you're looking
Didn't get this one.
at range DPS.
I think this is a range thing. Like, as melee, I don't think this really applies, which is why I don't play ranged ever. I only play melee, so that's a really good inclusion of this. So I'm gonna miss one because of it.
In general, talking about making sure that you're maximizing your ability to be able to cast on mobs, making sure that you're maximizing your ability to be able to put damage globals into the mobs. But it's also relevant for melee DPS. Typically, for
I mean, you have to dodge the frontals. Yeah, but like, okay, saying what do DPS often make mistakes in dungeons, and then I write dodge frontals. Like, that's just so fucking stupid. Like pre-positioning as ranged is a real thing. It's not a thing as melee. It's not a concept you do.
melee DPS is going to look a little bit different.
Like your positioning is important, like baiting frontals in certain spots and waiting for it and knowing where you're going to move, but that's not really the same thing, right?
Min-maxing your positioning relative to when swirlies are going to be coming out. It's min-maxing your position whenever circles are going to be coming out on the mobs that are going to prevent you from having uptime. It's also pre-positioning to make sure that you're going to be able to have the best ability to be able to maintain uptime on those mobs and dodge frontals and keep yourself safe a little bit. And then for range DPS, of course, by making sure that you're able to have and connect globals and pre-position really well, you're going to be able to deal a lot more damage to the mobs. This happens for both ranged and melee DPS. And of course, dealing damage and maintaining uptime on the mobs is one of the most important things for damage dealers, because dealing more damage over the course of the entire dungeon is going to speed up your dungeon, going to make your group more consistent, and it's also going to make you a more enticing player to bring back to your group. The number 4 thing, and I made a video specifically talking about this, but I'm going to kind of bring this back up again, is priority damage versus overall damage.
So, I mean, I don't know if I explicitly wrote this, but I mean, we just talked about this for like 10 minutes. That's basically what padding meant. Because I wrote out exactly what he just said, and someone in chat was just like, you just mean padding. So, I mean, yeah. All right. 1 out of 2 so far.
One of the biggest mistakes that players will make in general is
Turbo
believing
W.
that AoE DPS is the most important thing in M plus situations, and that's not always true. Now, it might be true to either top the meter or to look good for that person that you're trying to impress in your group.
What is it, Max? I think that tunneling your target is probably top 5 for like 95% of players. Okay. When you say all players in Mythic Plus, absolutely. But I would say even 20 to 30% of people who do like high keys probably don't have focus kicks and just target off of the thing they're kicking. If you talk about all people, like people who do 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s and 6, I would say, yeah, 95% of overall Mythic Plus players don't hit the prio target, and they're just doing whatever. Or they're just, if there's mobs, they're just going to AoE. They don't think about that, right?
To get reinvited to the group, but that's not always true for trying to time the key. Priority damage and having a good balance of
good
AoE
point,
versus
actually. Or doing prio is a mistake because topping meters gets you reinvited. Actually fucking true. This is like the healer rankings issue where, like, like the right thing to the right way to play as a healer is not instantly topping the group right away if there's nothing lethal happening for a long time. It's doing damage and using very efficient heals instead. But that doesn't make your healer logs look good, and that does not get you invited to your next guild if you're looking to jump up the guild rankings, right? So like you teach yourself to play the wrong way. That is kind of, it's like, I think you end up grouping with, when you're pugging, you end up grouping with a lot of people more often. But yeah, like if you really impress someone, they'll invite you next time. And you're only really, people aren't going to look at that in pugs. They're going to look at your overall damage, definitely. So yeah.
Single target damage is very important. Whenever you look at just a dungeon as a whole, about 40% of the dungeon is spent fighting bosses. These are typically going to be single target bosses. Now, that's not always true, but more often than not, these are going to be single target encounters. And so thus, having a good balance of single target versus AoE is very important. That's why some of the best Mythic Plus builds and some of the best Mythic Plus specs lose very little from like their raid build to actually go and do M+. Because whenever you're actually losing very little single target damage to play for your maximum potential for AoE, or very close to it, say like 95% of your maximum potential for AoE, that's important. Additionally, whenever you're talking about priority damage versus AoE, specs that deal full 100% of their AoE while continuing to do priority damage on a mob are very good, and that's why
it's fucking
some specs
broken
over time.
It's
I'm thinking
so
about
broken.
Things like Outlaw
It's not
Rogue.
just Mythic Plus. Those classes are obscenely broken in raid. Like there's usually only one boss a raid usually that matters, not like an early boss that's like pure single target. Everything else is like you need to do great single target while also having great cleave. That's always true. It's like all PvE in this game that is so fucking important. I guess in raid it's a little bit more about spread out damage maybe than fully stacked like it always is in Mythic Plus, but that profile is obscenely broken. And it's kind of weird because like it makes talent trees less interesting, because what could be cool is swapping a bunch of talents between the two things, but it turns out the different play styles and stuff isn't really able to happen, because anytime you actually do change a bunch of talents, it means your class kind of isn't good at doing both at the same time, and another class is better than you. You dealt with that a lot in Dragonflight. It's much less true now. Well, classes are much better at that now.
I'm thinking about things like Arcane Mage in the current season going into the War Within, Shadow Priest with Psychic Link, Havoc Demon Hunter. Like all of these specs lose very little to play for 100% of their AoE damage, and that allows these specs to be a lot better just in the long term. Now, there's some specs that historically have had problems where you're basically talenting out of all of your single target to talent full AoE. I'm thinking about like Aflock. I'm thinking about like Assassination Rogue pre-rework.
Arms Warrior pre-rework.
If you like end up giving up all of your single target and all of your priority damage to just play for AoE, even if your AoE is super spectacular, you're going to really struggle on boss encounters. And I think that in general, this is a big mistake that players make, is just over talenting into AoE damage. All right, so number 3, I have this in my notes in all caps, is interrupt, but it's also utilizing your utility and stops.
Oh, well, this is interesting. So I think he's doing 2 of mine here in one thing. So I said not using kicks and stops enough, but then I also said attacking the target you're kicking instead of the actual prio target, which looking at it now is kind of like these are kind of saying the same. They're not really saying the same thing, but I think he's going to combine them. And then he also said using your utility, which is definitely the same thing here. So I think this is just going to be this one. I think this is just number 3, right? So I'm 2 out of 3, I think. I don't think it's necessary. Maybe he'll talk about this too.
And also understanding what your spec does / your class can do. So for interrupts, there's typically going to be a meta about what you can and can't interrupt. And whenever you think about some of the dungeons, you have to kind of look at them piece by piece and understand like the cooldown on what the casts are. So for example, the first area of Arakara, there's some mobs that have a 12-second interrupt. And so then you know that you're going to be forced to put a melee DPS on that interrupt every single time. Otherwise, your mage or whatever might not be able to get it. Alternatively, there's also mobs in that dungeon that have casts that are on a 20-second interrupt, and that's optimal for a mage or an augmentation evoker. Then there are some casts that are on a 24-second interrupt, and that'll be optimal for like a hunter or a warlock or somebody else with a 24-second interrupt. Yeah. So understanding like what the meta will be for what you can and should kick is important, and then also understanding like how to rotate your interrupts correctly onto specific mobs. That will actually help you out in the long run. The best advice that I can have for being able to learn this is probably download the nameplate cooldown weak aura and then kind of diligently look at what the CDF casts are going to be.
Yeah, that's another, when we talk about like things they need to add into the game, like they did so many good things in Dragonflight to make the base game better, and the ones we often point out are like, man, if they could just make the nameplates better, or man, if they could just make the buffs and debuff tracking better with like whitelisting, blacklisting, moving it, stuff like that. That would like almost fully replace weak auras for a lot of things, but specifically the weak aura, one of the most underrated broken weak auras in the game is it's a nameplate aura, and it goes right next to the nameplate and it has the icon of the spell that they cast, and it shows the like either the ICD or the actual cooldown of that spell, so you know when things are going to happen from mobs. That is so fucking good. If you don't have that, get that. It's super fucking insane. And adding that to the like, that's just one weak aura where like I could see making the weak aura not work and just tracking it in your head being good. It's one or the other. You either make the weak aura unable to work somehow, and then, which I don't think I'm thinking about it right now, I don't think you could do that, or you would just build it into the base game, one of the two. This is not going to turn into an add-on conversation. That's not the point, but it is. He did mention bringing that. If you don't have that, fucking get that.
It will help you really understand and analyze where your kick is supposed to be going in a lot of the times. In addition to that, utilizing your utility and stops, that's a really big one that players until a high level don't really understand. Average players will end up throwing their stops or using them at a really weird time, or not pressing them at all. And I see this a lot whenever you're pugging in LFG, where you're just actually not pressing your stops at all. Asking a Shadow Priest, for example, to press Fear, you may as well just expect them to never press Fear for the entire dungeon. So I think it's one of those situations where knowing what needs to be stopped, knowing where's the right situation to have stops, and then also having like an interrupt tracker to make sure that you know when everybody's kick is on CD is really important for pressing your stops as well. This is especially true in the War Within, where stops actually make the mobs recast their abilities. And so like tracking everybody's interrupt and making sure that somebody's not going to accidentally kick into your stop is important, and like having that presence of mind and like, you know, making
it's like right here. So when you see that like most of your kicks are down and an important caster coming up, especially if there's more than two of them, that is definitely when you want to throw a stop. The issue with a non-coordinated group is you don't know which CC is next. There's not someone calling it. There's not a popular weak aura that people use for rotation. I tried making one the last time I did Mythic Plus just to help people, but like where it like kind of calls it for you. But it's knowing, even when it calls it for you, you don't really know when to actually do it. You would need to like hard code something to tell you like which things to do if you wanted to fully automate it. But yeah, it's especially interrupts are a premium. Like for example, if what you did was like everyone's getting ready to interrupt and you leg sweeped and stopped all their casts and you juiced like 2 or 3 interrupts, it would actually put you so far behind in the expansion. Like that's something that's part of their goal. Part of them making that change, which again, people are not a fan of right now. It's also pretty different, but I do understand why they did it. Why they did it right now is interrupts feel completely useless on your character because like one leg sweep or tail swipe or typhoon or whatever is worth 5 kicks. So like the value of kick has never been lower. They wanted to put the power back in kicks, have kicks feel more impactful and more meaningful than actual stops, which is nerfing stops in a way, which does need to happen in the game in some way. And then playing around when you have kicks up. It is very different. I think generally people are not a fan of it, but I absolutely understand why they did it. It'll once the season comes out, we'll find out exactly, once people get used to it, how much people hate it. Because like the Mythic Plus community is weird. Like whether you give the Mythic Plus community something genuinely awful or great, they're really averse to change, and they're going to immediately fucking hate it just because it's different than what they're used to and what their UI is set up to handle. But like, it's possible that that thing could be good, but it's also equally possible it could be super dog shit and they were right. But like, it's hard to trust the community, the raiding community too. It's hard to trust the community's initial reaction of WoW players because it's just so overtly negative. So I'm interested to see how the season plays out because of that. But I think putting a lot of that, making kicks significantly more important and playing around that, I think is actually really cool. I just wonder if the downsides of how annoying it will be when you don't do it right will be enough to justify that being better.
abilities. And so like tracking everybody's interrupt and making sure that somebody's not going to accidentally kick into your stop is important, and like having that presence of mind and like, you know, making sure that your Omni CD is set up correctly, making sure that your interrupt tracker is set up correctly as a DPS is very important, because DPS just as a general rule has a lot more.
And then 2 specs can't kick. Yeah, I mean it's a PvP thing. There is one reason why Priest did not get silence, and it's because RMP as a comp, they did not want to give Priest a silence. If PvP wasn't to consider, I'm not even like There's probably a lot of bad PvP things because PvE exists, right? But that's the way I look at it. I think Priest in PvE should have a kick no matter what. It's crazy that they don't.
Ability to be able to like CC
Just make
and
it not
interrupt
usable in
mobs,
PvP or something. Yeah, I don't
especially
know how to do
whenever you're
that.
playing like a melee DPS. So making sure that you are aware of what you're supposed to be doing and when you're
Sorry,
supposed
that
to be
was
doing
me.
it is a
That's
crucial
my
point.
Discord sound. Sorry.
And it's one of the biggest
Had
mistakes I
streamer mode
definitely see
off.
from DPS. Number 2, defensive usage.
Nice. Okay, so right now we're 3 out of 4, right? And the only one we missed was like a clear range thing. He said pre-positioning, which is not really something as melee. And I didn't want to write what do people often do wrong in Mythic Plus? What are the top 5 biggest mistakes people make? Oh, we'll just dodge the damage, don't stand in fire. That's so fucking like ancient caveman level thinking, right? But he did the ranged version of that, which actually did seem like a good point. So I'm 3 out of 4, and the only way I can get 4 out of 5 would be for him to do specifically attacking the target you're kicking instead of the actual prio target. Maybe he doesn't choose this, but man, I think this is a fucking good one, you know? Like, okay, if you've covered defensives, the padding thing, the not using stops and kicks and understanding that, he did that. Okay, so we did these 3, and we got these 3 right so far. So he could choose not using cooldowns efficiently. That's part of it. But man, I feel like you have to mention this. This is like, this I think is the number one thing people do wrong. Like, even basic level players will understand kind of at some point when they need to use defensives. They don't use them a lot, but they understand it. Same thing with kicks and stops. Oh, you wiped to something, a cast one off? Okay, I'll kick that next time. You get that. This is something that people have just been okay with doing for fucking ever. Right? I really hope that he chooses that one.
I think that this is something that has gotten a lot more talked about over the course of Dragonflight, as defensives have been a lot more important and impactful just as a whole.
What is it? Number 5 is unreal because typical Mythic Plus players don't know what to kick to begin with. Then they just choose a mob that looks bigger than the others. Okay, but to be fair, if you wanted to kill the prio target, killing the mob that is bigger than the others is right most of the time. Not always. Sometimes you want to get rid of a caster. Sometimes you want to get rid of a caster because it's like there's too many of these certain ones that are alive and eventually you'll just die because you'll run out of things for them. But like, if that isn't the specific problem and you're looking for a prio target, the biggest one is usually right.
Still going to remain true in the war within, and having good defensive usage is important.
Stay small, by the way.
It's not something that you can necessarily script out, although scripted defensive usage is something that you see from time to time, particularly in like great push level groups. But just having the knowledge and the presence of mind to plan out your defensives for the next 1, 2, potentially even 3 minutes of a boss fight is really important. Also having that level of communication and rapport with your healer to know whenever they're going to be pressing something on you versus whenever you should be pressing something for yourself. Also, like, when is Zephyr going to be coming out? When is like Anti-Magic Zone going to be coming out? What are we going to be spirit linking? Stuff like that. There's a bunch of group externals that can be pressed as well, and having a good understanding of where those group externals should go, and also how to keep yourself alive in pretty much
they're
all
taking
situations
damage.
is an important thing. I think a good example of this is like Algathar Academy. Whenever you were looking at Croth, the meta for that was to actually go to 5 stacks. Very few classes could go to 5 stacks of that Sonic Screech debuff without any help. There were some exceptions, like Mage could do it, but in general, not every class could actually go to 5 stacks that Sonic Screech debuff without a little bit of help. So, assigning things like Rescue, assigning things like Zephyr, or knowing whenever people are going to be pressing like a group external, like a Devo Aura,
which you're never going to get in a pug, but also this is only a problem
sure
in keys that are way higher than what you're pugging.
That when to be pressing your defensives correctly is a huge deal, and that's something that you see like even like low range title M+ players, like very good players by every sense of the word. That's where
I'm noticing something on Tettle's UI. What is it? What is this? You almost have to like zoom the fuck in to see this. 1 second. There's like a debuff or a buff being. What the fuck is this? Is it his Ebonmite? It's on the whole group except for him. It's so fucking small. Like, it's so small that there's no fucking way he sees that. You know what I mean? It's probably because, like, I mean, he's tracking Ebonmite here, right? This is the point of Ebonmite and his thing. So, like, my only question is, like, why is it so small? Why is it there at all? He was like, I don't want to see it and I don't want to blacklist it, but I'm just going to make it as small as it could possibly can. Is it just buffs that you give to someone on their bar?
Plus players, like very good players by every sense of the word. That's where...
What is it? It's probably the baseline buff indicator from LVUI. Yeah, but like, can't you just shift? Is it shift right click, shift left click that instantly blacklists anything? By the way, maybe a lot of you guys are learning that for the first time. If you see a debuff or a buff you don't want to actually see on your raid or party frames, I think it's shift right click, might be shift left click, but it'll just blacklist it forever if you just hover over it. But also, maybe he can't blacklist it because it's so fucking small. What is it? All I can think of is it's just to see who it is actually on, and then his main weak aura is for duration. In a party, I would bet my house and anything on earth that he never looks at this small indicator for any reason. Under any circumstances. It's never something he looks at, ever. It's only here, which is why I just wonder why it's there. It doesn't matter.
Title M+ players, like very good players by every sense of the word. That's where you go from being like a low range title player to being
what is
like,
it? It technically has a range on it, so it might be to see if someone has the buff. Yeah, but why would you? That wouldn't change anything you do. If you happen to outrange someone on your Ebonmite, that would effectively change nothing in how you handled the next 30 seconds, right?
an elite level players, just having that presence of mind to really map out your defensives minutes in advance. Because it's one of those things too that it's really easy to press your defensives on cooldown, or kind of as you see the cast of the 6 second.
Oh yeah, there's nothing more iconic than a DPS player getting hit for 80% of their health, getting scared, pressing Barkskin or whatever their personal is, and then having no damage happen after that. That's an iconic maneuver.
But it's another thing to be looking at your timers and knowing, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do here, this is what I'm going to do here. And honestly too, sometimes you have to do like a...
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, it depends on the key you're doing, but, like, okay, if you weren't expecting to take damage, like, you know the dungeon really well, right? You know the dungeon really well, and you were not expecting to take damage, but then you randomly, it must have mean a cast went off or something went wrong, and you have Barkskin up, and you're like, damn, I don't know what the fuck just went wrong, but if something else goes wrong soon, I might die. So... maybe not in the essence of doing the most possible damage being reduced by my cooldowns. I kind of want to use this now just in case something else goes wrong and I die because this isn't normal. So, like, it's not always the wrong decision. It just feels bad to do.
One-shot calculator to make sure that you're able to live stuff. That's a bit out of the scope of this necessarily, but that's also something that you're going to have to do whenever you start to push.
The only time it's really, really frustrating is when you definitely should have known to use it ahead of time and you're like a healer watching people take damage and, like, you know a damage event is coming because you're aware of the instance, right? And then it happens to them and then they panic do it. That looks bad. But I do think there's a scenario where you actually are aware of what's supposed to happen, but something that's very rare goes wrong. You're confused and you just panic press it. I don't think that's the wrong decision, because, like, what happens if you just die shortly after that because you didn't do that? You would have rather have pressed it, right? And then you can always just cross the bridge later when you don't have a cooldown for something else. You can usually find another way to utilize that. You can call for an external rescue, something, right? Like, there's scenarios where it makes sense.
Become a better player. Now, the number one mistake that I see DPS players make in dungeons is they don't use...
Okay, so this is interesting. So I ended up getting 4 out of 5 right. The one that I missed was a range-specific thing, which makes sense why I didn't get it. But he did not end up doing the prio target thing. He ended up going with the not using cooldowns efficiently, which is probably something that more people do wrong. Like, dude, there are DPS who will have their cooldowns come up, like, with the mobs at 60% and just hold it all the way until the next pack, even on, like, a higher key. Because they just want to, like, have the big pull they pop off on, even though it's just not good for overall. Like doing the dungeon quickly.
This is something that should be taught to DPS players the moment that they start doing dungeons, is always use your offensive cooldowns on CD. This is one of those things that...
when in doubt, yeah. When in doubt, if there's ever a, should I do this? Send it, right? There are definitely scenarios where, like, the mobs are at 10% and you don't press it. But, like, people will hold it for half the pack.
Especially with the travel time that happens in M+ dungeons, holding your offensive CDs is almost always a mistake. There are a couple of spots where you can actually argue that using your offensive CDs or holding them can be optimal. But in general, it's a lot more optimal to get more uses of your offensive CDs than the optimal uses of your offensive CDs.
Correct.
It's one of those things that I would
dungeons
say
are really
don't know
long.
when to press them.
Like, because dungeons are 30+ minutes long usually, you are 25, 30 plus minutes, like you getting into a habit of holding your CDs just so they're up at the beginning of pulls, you are losing multiple uses of cooldowns over the course of the dungeon. Definitely. And if you factor in travel time, it absolutely makes sense. And this is, you know what, actually thinking about it, I think this is good that he put this at number 1 because this is probably the biggest mistake people make. Like, I think this causes more damage to your group than the fact that people aren't targeting prio mobs. But I do think that I would add an honorable mention of people targeting the wrong mob. Like, just attacking the thing you're kicking instead of focus kicking is a huge problem. But I think he made the right choice by doing that.
Press them on CD, and if you determine after the fact that that was a bad press, you'll know in the future, and you know the situations in the future that you're like, okay, this was a bad press. But starting from a baseline of I'm pressing my CD on cooldown here, and if it was overkill or if we didn't really need it here, that's fine. But this is one of those things too that in between your trash packs, you probably have 15, 20, 30 seconds of runtime in between the packs, and so like even if you press your cooldown at the very end of a trash pack and say it is a 2-minute CD, you're only going to have it on effective, like the effective
Spirit Link on cooldown, boys. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
cooldown is only going to be 1 minute and 30 seconds, and that's like a very valuable way of thinking about how to use your offensive CDs and making sure that you're getting some of this CDR by non-combat time, because you can just like press your offensive CD whenever a boss is at 15%, but you know you have a minute of runtime or travel time ahead of you. You may as well just ship it, and you know, you're basically getting 1 minute of CDR for free. All right, so those were the top 5 mistakes and the biggest mistakes that I see from DPS players in M+.
Great video.
I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on some of the biggest mistakes that you see in M+ dungeons.
Yeah, my only thing to add would be the focus kick thing. I think that's major.
Down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Has Tettle's hair ever been the same 2 days in a row? Like in his entire fucking life? I don't think so, which goes kind of hard. You should comment that. Nah. One of you guys can comment it instead and steal it. I mean, that's probably what a lot of people are thinking. That's a very common thing. Yeah, fuck yeah. Shout out Tettles. Like how you steal comments from us? I do. Sometimes, especially when my chat's really poppin', I steal shit from you guys, and I never credit the person. And enough chat has gone by to where enough people don't remember that it came from chat, but then that one person's just sitting there just like, he fucking stole that. And you're fucking right. You're goddamn right I did. Get stolen. Stay big. Stay baby. That's part of the contract we have. You guys watch my stream and give me money, and in return I get to steal your cool jokes and good ideas. Anyways, I'll be right back. That actually doesn't sound like a fair trade, but I'll be right back. I'm fucking back. Max, since you steal our jokes, you should let us rip a few more bird cocks on the reg. No. Max, your view count went up again when you left and dropped when you got back. No, it didn't. My view count was 1,300 at least on you. I don't see my Twitch viewership. My YouTube viewership was 1,300 before I left, and I came back as at 100. Wrong. Wrong. Fake news. Wrong. You're wrong. Guys, you don't understand. It would be good for me. I would really enjoy it. Why is my camera so big on stream? Oh, it's because I was talking to that guy the other day, and I kept it so... That's so fucking big. Okay, yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, guys, I would like it. It would be ideal for me. If it was actually true that my chair got more viewers than me, and every time I left, my viewers went up, and every time I came back, viewers left, I would just stream 24 hours a day of my chair, and then I would just infinite money hack. I would just never be here. It would be amazing. I would love for that to be true. I want it to be true. It's just not, unfortunately. You know what? I am sick and tired of people's discrimination throbbing. What is this? Just because Throbbin is a little different than the other Robins, he's just as much of a Robin than all the other Robins out there. He deserves the same respect and admiration as his fellow Robins, yet he often finds himself marginalized and underestimated. Throbbin's unique qualities should be celebrated. He just has a huge dick. That's it. He just has a huge, huge fucking cock. That's the only thing. Wait, there's more class tuning hotfixes? Mage and Mistweaver Monk? Okay. Wait, is it on live? Or is beta hotfixes? Yeah, it's on the beta. Max, did Robin ever get his YouTube monetization back from his incident? I don't know. I mean, let's find out. No, his channel's just not here. Right? I mean, it's gone. There's no... It would be the first thing that went up. Dude, that's fucking crazy. What's the drama with now? I think what happened is he was private streaming on YouTube, which you can do, for their MDI practice, just so they had things filmed, or they had it on film. Like we do the same thing with all of our PTR testing. Every single one of our players private streams on YouTube, right? But the problem is YouTube doesn't know the difference between private and non-private. They screen your content anyway. So they were what I believe happened is their practice ended, but his private stream was still going, which is fine because the only people that ever see it is his team, I guess. And he had a little hub session. He went to the hub on his computer, okay? And I don't know if there was anything shown or if you could just hear it, but for whatever reason, the private stream had like explicit content on it, and then YouTube nuked his channel because of that. He wasn't like on camera or anything, but yeah. So he did that, and then they nuked his stream because, like, to YouTube, it's no different if no one watched it. If you put a video on YouTube with that in it, they're gonna act on it, private or not, whatever. And then now he just doesn't have a YouTube channel, which honestly is fucking insane. Guys, a large percentage of my income is on YouTube, like a lot. It's not the majority, but it's a lot. So that's really sad if that's true. I would be really depressed about that if that happened to me. So that's upsetting. Hopefully you guys give him some love for that. Seriously. Max, check out the YouTube link I posted. You said at maximum throbbing cock, eh? And then you linked a video. There's under no circumstances am I going to click on that. It's safe. I don't care. I'm not watching it. It's the pole vault guy? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, if you guys missed it, well, I don't want to show the Olympics either because, like, NBC will absolutely turbo nuke your VOD for DMCA. Watching the Olympics is terrifying. You can't really do that. But yeah, if you guys want to look it up, there was this guy who failed the pole vault. And it's because he has a massive cock. Like, he's got an absolute hammer. And, like, you can see it. Like, he goes over the pole vault and he was gonna clear it, but his fucking huge dick, like, got caught on the pole. And, yeah. Which, honestly, like, if you're gonna lose in the Olympics, if you're gonna go out, actually, I'm pretty sure pole vaulting, you have a bunch of attempts. It's not like you have one attempt and that's it. But, like, if you're gonna go out and not win the gold medal in the Olympics, you might as well tell the whole world that you've got a fucking big old wiener. Right? That's the same reason I don't have a gold medal. Yeah, same. It's always held me back. Max, so you also saw the breakdancing? Dude, that was so fucking funny. The Australian breakdancing shit was so dude, honestly, the Olympics gave some incredible memes. Like, top tier fucking memes. It's so funny. The rumors are already swirling that breakdancing isn't coming back for LA. Yeah, I heard that. Max, apparently that woman has a PhD in dance. Well, maybe it's a different kind of dance. I'm from Australia. That woman created the breaking org in Australia just so she could go to the Olympics, and her husband was appointed the coach. I mean, that kind of goes hard, right? I imagine that person is like a... Actually, wait, how does Australia feel about her? Is she celebrated? Is she shameful? Like, what's the vibe? Any OCE dudes? I think it's funny as fuck. What is it? She's in actual trouble. We are not a fan. All right, I'm getting half and half here. Her house has been egged. Bro, that's some old school. That's some old school punishment. When was the last time a house got egged, bro? I remember, like, talking about doing that kind of shit with my friends in, like, middle school. And, like, never after that. So it was probably some middle schoolers. Or TPing houses. You toilet papered your grandma's house once? What the fuck? Why? Do you, like, hate your... Was she awful or something? Did you see the Chinese gymnast biting her medal? Yeah, that was so cute. She was like sitting there looking all happy, and then she noticed the gold and silver were like biting their metal, and then she was like, "Oh shit, me too." Someone should egg Trump and Kamala and see how they handle it. Let's just get political. Fuck it. Let's just fucking get out. Let's just get it all out there. I painted a dick shape in salt in my friend's house's front yard right before it rained, and it killed all the grass, so he had a dick shape in his yard for a while. Wait, that's actually like a top tier prank when you were a kid, though. That's fucking crazy. That's kind of a W, I think. If you're a kid, that's a W. Like, as an adult, that's immature, but like, you were a kid at the time, right? That's kind of a dub. Wait, does that do that to salt? Like, if you put a shitload of salt in your yard and then it rains or you water the salt, like, will that kill the grass? I mean, it kind of sounds like it would. I have no idea how that would actually work. Try it? No, I have a nice yard. I like it. People that had to replace that grass were probably pissed. Yeah, well, no shit. Can you imagine if you like are like a mom or a dad that tends to your own yard, and then you go outside one day and half of your grass is dead and it looks like there's a giant cock? That's crazy. New tuning again? Oh, are they just tuning shit up right now? Like more secondary stat flasks nerfed by 15% or more within beta. These ones specifically. Okay. Well, like, until an expansion comes out, the actual stats, like, this doesn't mean anything to me. The power of flasks doesn't mean anything at all, so. One article down. Oh, yeah, we already read this. I mean, we didn't, like, deep dive it, but looks like they buffed Revival, like the upfront hit of Revival for Mistweaver. They gave Mistweaver a passive 20% buff for Vivify. And they buffed Restoral, which is a really stupid name, by the way. I mean, I like that there's a choice node, but like, very funny. And then what are the other changes they did? They nerfed Reactive Barrier, the defensive node in Spellslinger. They nerfed it in half for PvP. Same thing with the other shit. Max, whatever happened to never reading notes in that format? I do hate reading notes in this format. The difference is here, it's a very small amount of changes, so you can read it really quickly. And I know that they're probably not going to make a big post about all the tuning changes, so I don't want to like, for example, if it was like a normal beta build day, I would just sit here and wait for the actual readable thing with 1,000 changes in it. But with like 2 changes and like there probably isn't a thing coming, I might as well just read it, right? Max, do you know Captain Flowers, the lolcaster? I do, yeah. I've been to dinner with him a few times, and I saw him at like the PoE 2 event. He's a really good dude. You should get him in for the race. I would love to get him in for the race. Probably Azale would have to get him into it because Azale loves WoW. He's probably pretty expensive. He's a fucking incredible caster. But yeah, I mean, I would love to do that. By the way, that guy's real as fuck. The first time I ever met that guy, he was hammered. It was at the offline TV party after Anime Expo like a year or two ago. They rented out this like giant house in Westwood, and there was like 200-300 people there. It was just like a normal LA gamer party, but it was the first time I ever met this guy, and he was fucking hammered, and he offered for me to go over to his house and just drink beers and play old PS2 games together. And I was like, dude, that sounds like the biggest fucking vibe of all time. I didn't take him up on it. I was probably busy or something, but I would do that like tonight. That sounds like super fun. But that goes hard as fuck, right? Like that tells you a lot about him. But then after that, I've been to dinner with him a few times, just randomly, at a friend's dinner, and then they were there. What is it? If Liquid wins the NALCS, will you get Spawn onto chat? He's really fucking cool. He is really fucking cool. You know, I actually had a random conversation with him. I was at Liquid filming something, and I was filming something with Yun, one of their... I think he's their jungler. Maybe I got that wrong. I know he's not their support. I don't follow League very closely. He's their AD carry. Okay. So I was filming something with him, and he's really cool. And then, like, it was just in, like, the League area, and I just started talking. I saw this guy watching Ben on stream, because apparently Spawn is super into PoE. And he was watching Ben. I'm like, oh, yeah, dude, I've, like, played thousands of hours of games with that guy. Like, he's one of my best friends. And then he was like, yeah, well, that's super cool. Like, I think he's, like, one of the best, like, gamers there is. And he's just a huge Ben fan. And we were just talking about Ben for a bit. And then we were talking about PoE and the difference between PoE and Diablo. And I had no idea who he was. I don't, like, really follow. And then I was like, nice to meet you. I'm Max. Yeah, I don't think he really knew who I was either. And then he was like, yeah, no, I'm the league coach here. I'm like, oh, fucking shit. That's sweet, man. I didn't know that. And, yeah, but he was cool as fuck. Seemed really smart. And was a great conversation. And then I found out, like, only afterwards that he was the league coach. Max, can we talk about how they buffed Kidney Shot to 8 seconds? Ha ha ha. Were you really laughing when you said... Okay, you saying ha ha... The fact that you added a third ha on it made me really think you were fucking laughing. But okay, in reality, it's not that crazy, I guess, but it just sounds wild to have an 8-second stun. Probably in PvP, it's huge. I don't give a fuck about PvP. In PvE, it's pretty good. Like when have long single target stuns been really valuable? Oh, it wasn't changed in PvP. It's purely in PvE. Okay, so PvE only. So remember Anduin? Like Anduin second phase, you're running around killing like specific mobs that like have to die and they're casters and their casts are dangerous, so you want to stun the one you're killing. Also, I think there used to be some kind of passive rogues had back then where like I think if you had something stunned, I think it was a talent, if you had something stunned, it took 10% more damage from all sources. So in a 20-person raid, like the combo points to do that is worth the raid damage, right? So I think you did it for damage. But that was like hard CC. No. You hard CC'd the other ones until you got to them, but you did always open on a new one with Kidney Shot for sure. That was the best thing to do if you had enough rogues to do that. On Anduin. So that was the last time I think Kidney Shot was used in PvE. Besides, I mean, you probably use it in dungeons maybe to stop certain casts or something. Like just like a quick like one combo point one, but Max, are you a part owner of the Liquid Org? Yes. How is cohabitation between esports team inside Liquid? Well, I know the league players like live at the facility and they live like right behind it. I don't think there's any other teams that are like on site. I think their Dota team might be in EU. But they or maybe, and I don't know much about their Dota team. I've seen the Dota team around the office. I've met their CS players one time. I see their league players all the time. I was around the facility more with like the Bjerg and Bjerg team like from a couple of years ago. I was with so I saw them a lot and I knew a few of them. They had but yeah, other than that, you don't really see a lot of the other teams. Like I'm like one of the only people who's like local, I think. Bjerg? Yeah, Bjergsen. How are you supposed to say that? Is it Bergson? It's Bjergsen, right? Yeah, the Hans Sama Santorin Bjergsen Whippo team. Yeah. Whippo's really cool too. He was a part of a few of our shoots. He's a really cool guy. And Bjerg was cool. But anyways, back to this. Did you ever interact with them except League? I don't play League ever. I just interacted with them in person at the facility. I would just say what's up when I came by. I knew a few of them, yeah. You don't go into the office and do other things that don't involve WoW? Not really, unless I have to do shoots. Like, if I have to do, like, a Alienware shoot for one of their products or any of our sponsors, or I have to do some race filming or whatever. Like, there's a ton of stuff like that. Like, usually, like, twice a month. Usually 3 times a month leading up to the race, maybe more. And then I go into the office and say hi to everybody. I don't go there all the time. I could. What I could do, their office is 10, 15 minutes from me. I could drive there and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner there every day if I wanted to. I don't do that. I probably should do that. It sounds really stupid when I say it like that. Because they have fucking insane food made by Heidi every day. I mean, I could do that. But yeah, I don't do that. So, yeah, other than that, I just go in there when I have to usually. What were we talking about? 8-second kidney shot. How the fuck did we get to that? I don't know. But 8-second question. Can rogues still make things that they have kidney shot take 10% more damage from every source? Is that still, does that exist anywhere? The talent tree, some kind of perk? I don't know how the fuck that would work. Like, does that still exist in the game? It's 5% and it's outlaw only? Or it's, no one knows? I mean, I don't even know where the fuck we would be able to... We can find out for ourselves, right? What's it called? I'll know the name if I hear it. I remember the name of the talent. I just, like, it's on the tip of my tongue. Kidney shot and it'll show up. Okay, rush, shut up, or sting like a bee. Oh, there it is. Okay, enemies disabled by your cheap shot or kidney shot take 10% increased damage from all sources for 6 seconds. Okay, so it still exists, but it's only in the outlaw tree. But yeah, so if you ever end up playing outlaw for whatever reason, and something is stunnable and it's a priority target you have to kill, that is extremely fucking good in raid. Like, that's really value. But it doesn't matter that kidney shot is 8 seconds, though, because it's based on the duration of this talent anyway. So I guess that doesn't really matter. It would just be for, like, specifically CCing certain mobs, which could have good effect. Honestly, can you still spit it? So could you spit on a mob and then kidney shot them for 12 seconds? It's like 8 seconds base. Long CC is surely now more valuable when stops don't put that shit on cooldown. Absolutely, yeah. So that should work. So you can have a 12-second single target stun. That's pretty fucking insane. That's probably worth it, even in Mythic Plus on like a really hard mob, if you're scared of stops. Outlaw is honestly pretty decent, but I don't think they're getting played in raid without more tuning. But there is going to be more like there's like saying confidently I don't think something's going to be played in raid based on current tuning is one thing, but like current tuning might look completely different in a couple weeks. Didn't people think rogue was dog shit a month ago and now it's like really good AoE? Things can change instantly. When tuning seems like a complete meme, don't trust the way anything looks. If you're sure a class is going to be bad for the expansion, I would reconsider your stance, because I'm not sure of anything being bad or good, because I think it could all change. The only thing that really matters at this point is whether something feels like shit to play or not. True. Absolutely right. Max, life or death, Windwalker or Frosty K? Respond. Windwalker. I'm always partial to Windwalker. Easy. How is H-Pal looking in the War Within? You know. Do you guys prep more characters since tuning is so wild? Yep. Have to have options. Anyways, this is getting boring. It's been a good little yap, boys. Remember to stay fresh. I'll be streaming, I believe, again tomorrow because I need to force myself to not play hockey. I have a pickup game I could go to tomorrow, but I have some kind of problem in my leg, and I don't know what it is. But I need to take a day off because I have a playoff game on Wednesday. So, anyways, goodbye.